The story opens with huge news. South and North Korea have finally made peace. The demilitarized zone is gone, every transport route is open, and people across the Korean Peninsula can now move freely between both sides. A brand new place called Peace City is being built ahead of the official unification, and the whole country is buzzing. One night, a woman named Young-ok crosses over from the north. The streets are packed with fans taking photos beside posters of Vita, a boy group blowing up fast, and they are holding a concert that very night in the city of Pyeongwasi. Young-ok is not here for the show. She came looking for medicine, but the pharmacy she reaches is closed because of the concert. Two strangers, a man and a woman, spot her and move in. They try to sell her a drug they claim can cure any illness. Young-ok does not realize they are con artists. She is even willing to pay a high price, but she does not have much cash on her, so they lead her off somewhere else. Meanwhile, Vita's leader, Lloyd, arrives at the venue to screaming fans. One girl near the back looks nervous. The concert kicks off, and it is massive, with the whole crowd cheering and singing along. The mayor of Pyeongwasi is thrilled. With Vita headlining, his city gets worldwide attention, and the Korean peace plan becomes a moment for the history books. But behind the scenes, a group is quietly rigging the stadium to blow. The mayor gets an anonymous tip about the bomb plot and orders his people to shut it down immediately. Korean peace is on the line, and the entire unification could collapse if this group pulls off an attack. Here is the first twist. Young-ok is actually special forces. She gets a mission call and hijacks the con artist's truck so she can move fast. At the same time, the bombing crew gets ordered to abort because their plan has already leaked. Their paths are about to collide. This is my military Valentine. During a break in his concert, Lloyd slips off the stage. Security cameras catch him acting shady, wearing a cap and hopping down some stairs before jumping into a car. He is actually meeting a beautiful actress who brought him a gift, a rare toy weapon. Lloyd gets so excited over the toy that he completely ignores the actress, who clearly has a crush on him. Then it all goes sideways. People spot Lloyd in the car with a woman, and it instantly looks like a scandal. At the same moment, special forces raid the car based on the earlier tip, and their leader grabs his toy weapon and smashes it. Lloyd loses it and starts yelling, then freezes when he realizes the unit's leader is a woman. That woman is Young-ok. After all this, Lloyd and his agency are stuck dealing with the scandal between him and the actress. To let it cool off, Lloyd hides out at home for a while. Here is the thing about him. He is obsessed with military games and collects toy weapons, and honestly, he finds those toys more interesting than any woman. That is exactly why he flipped out when his got destroyed. Young-ok, the mayor, and his two advisors work to bury the whole mess for the sake of peace. Luckily, the scandal keeps the media distracted. They also track down the anonymous tipster who reported the bomb plot, and it turns out to be a teenage superfan of Lloyd, the same nervous girl from the stadium. Meanwhile, Lloyd's manager hands him a fix for his image problem: enlist in mandatory military service. Day one does not go how Lloyd expected. He is promised a cushy defense team, but he gets dumped straight onto a brutal battlefield. He has none of the strength or stamina of the other soldiers, so he gets overwhelmed and goes down after a bullet hits him. Before he blacks out, he thinks about his mother, who only ever cares about money. Even before he shipped out, the first thing she brought up was his insurance policy. That disappointment is the reason he rushed his enlistment in the first place, just to escape her. Then Lloyd wakes up furious because he was the only one not told the whole operation was a simulation with no live rounds. He demands that Young-ok answer for the stadium ambush, but she ignores him and orders everyone back to base. Still in pain, Lloyd falls behind, trying to keep up. Here is where things get clear. Lloyd is now part of a team called Mountain Hawk, a joint South and North Korean unit built to take down a crime group in Pyeongwasi. Normally they would work in secret, but the mayor wants them public, to show the world how well the two Koreas cooperate. That is why Lloyd got stuffed into the unit. The higher-ups want to ride his fame to boost their image. The crime group calls itself Violet, and they are dead set against unification. Their leader, Jae-hoon, orders his men to grab Song-yi, the teen who reported the bomb plot, but the authorities get to her first. They discover she is a skilled hacker with suspected ties to Violet. Mountain Hawk reaches the barracks, except for Lloyd, who gets lost and ends up alone. Meanwhile, with help from a government spy, Violet snatches Song-yi. She manages to escape and runs straight into Lloyd, who helps her hide. She is stunned to meet her idol like this and apologizes, sure she dragged him into danger by reporting Violet. Lloyd does not understand, but he saves her anyway with a decoy move, throwing on Song-yi's jacket and running the other way to bait Violet after him. With no real weapon, Lloyd is helpless until Young-ok swoops in on a motorcycle. Out of options, the two of them leap off a cliff to lose Violet. Problem is, Lloyd cannot swim, and he starts to sink. Young-ok goes up for air and comes back down to breathe into his mouth, which turns into a kiss. Now a flashback fills in Young-ok's past. She grew up wealthy, the daughter of an influential North Korean couple. Her father was a high-ranking officer, and her mother was a professor. But everything fell apart when her parents got caught in a political scandal. Young-ok was thrown into a harsh, terrifying training camp. There she met Jae-hoon, the man who now leads Violet, and back then he helped her survive the worst of it. He became one of the reasons she kept going. Back in the present, Jae-hoon runs a bar as a front, hiding Violet's headquarters in the basement. When one of his men claims to have killed Young-ok, Jae-hoon does not buy it. He knows she is an elite soldier who is not easy to beat. And even knowing her since childhood does nothing to change his plan to destroy the peace. Young-ok and Lloyd escape to a riverbank. Lloyd asks about the teen he rescued, and it turns out Young-ok already got the girl somewhere safe before backing him up. Young-ok is impressed that Lloyd risked his life for a stranger, but he shrugs it off. He admits he was not really thinking. If he had actually weighed it, he probably could not have done it. He just acted on what felt right. The North Korean deputy commissioner orders the remaining Mountain Hawk soldiers to find the two of them, but Young-ok is fading fast from a slash wound to her stomach, cut by Violet before the cliff jump. Luckily, Lloyd once did survival shows and knows how to stop the bleeding. He struggles to start a fire while she groans in pain. Half-conscious, she dreams of the day the military dragged her father away for no reason and tore her family apart. As Lloyd goes to find help, she grabs his hand and begs him not to leave, so he carries her to the roadside until their teammates find them.
Medic! Call a medic!
Lloyd wakes up in a hospital room with his assistant and his agency's CEO. After everything, he demands to know why he is stuck in a unit that keeps nearly killing him. The CEO just says the Pongwasi government needs him. On top of that, Vita's fans are thrilled their idol is now part of a special unit that symbolizes protection and Korean unity. Lloyd loves military stuff, sure, but not the part where he almost dies, so he pushes to transfer to a normal defense unit. Then he finds out Young-ok is in the same ward. Even after all they survived, the two of them keep bickering and blaming each other. At one point, Lloyd nearly brings up how she talked in her sleep about her father, but he stops himself, knowing that trauma is not something to joke about. Next, he meets the South Korean deputy commissioner, Min-ho, the man who forced him into Mountain Hawk. Min-ho pitches it as a win for everyone. Lloyd's fame grows, and the world sees Korean unification going smoothly. Lloyd is not against unification, but he has nearly died repeatedly, so he still wants out. Meanwhile, after talking to a cardiothoracic doctor, Young-ok runs into the two con artists again at the hospital and orders 10 bottles of their miracle cure, hoping it can fix heart disease. Lloyd steps in and chases the scammers off before she gets robbed. Instead of thanking him, she snaps at him. She says at least she was trying every option to find the medicine she needs, which shows how desperate she really is. Then Jae-hoon shows up. He and Young-ok have not seen each other in ages, and the reunion is emotional. Lloyd barges in and pulls them apart mid-hug. It bugs him. Young-ok is always cold with him, but sweet with Jae-hoon. This is jealousy, plain and simple, and Lloyd splits them up a second time, which just annoys her more. Right after, Lloyd has to meet the lawyer his side sent, a beautiful woman named So Hee-ji. Her job is to win Lloyd his transfer out of the unit. The problem is the South Korean deputy commissioner is refusing to let him go. If Lloyd pushes back, the commissioner is ready to report him for illegal firearm possession. It is only a toy, but with an insider's help, the commissioner can make it stick. That is why Lloyd needs a lawyer. He asks Young-ok to testify that his weapon was fake, but she refuses since her superior never ordered her to. Elsewhere, Jae-hoon sets a trap for Song-yi. It comes out that Song-yi actually worked with Violet, but she sabotaged their plan to protect Lloyd, and she kept their secret file as insurance to stay safe. Now, Jae-hoon wants to recapture her to secure that file, and he threatens to hurt Lloyd to lure her to the hospital. At the hospital, Lloyd gets piles of fan gifts. He finds a little doll with his name on it, and gives it to Young-ok, thinking it will make her cuter. She immediately throws it aside and tells him to grow up. Later that night, Lloyd dreams about kissing her, then wakes to find her having a nightmare. He hands her the doll to calm her, and she grabs his hand out of fear. He sits by her bed until she settles. The next morning, Young-ok is embarrassed to find they held hands all night, and she refuses to admit she reached for him first. Lloyd offers her the doll again for the next nightmare. Later, Lloyd sees Young-ok dressed up sweetly and, convinced she is going on a date, secretly tails her. But she is actually searching for a way to cure her little sister, who has heart disease. In full duty mode, Young-ok catches him following her and drags him back to base. When he resists, she trips, and they almost fall into an embrace, turning tense into romantic for a second. Before heading back, they stop at the hospital for paperwork, and tragedy hits. Song-yi falls from the roof. She is rushed into surgery. She survives, but barely. Lloyd suspects this was no accident since Violet was hunting her. Young-ok acts like she does not care, but she is secretly investigating with her superior, Il-do, the North Korean deputy commissioner. They learn Song-yi hacked Violet's secret file, which is why the group wants her dead, but only Song-yi knows where that file is. Back at base, Lloyd's teammates tell him something big. Violet is made up of former members of Unit 112, the same brutal camp where Young-ok and Jae-hoon trained. That unit is obsolete now that the Koreas have made peace. That night, Lloyd remembers Song-yi asking about her pink jacket at the hospital, the one he wore as a decoy. He lost track of it after being hospitalized. He figures she came back to find the jacket, and that is when she fell from the roof. Meanwhile, Hee-ji, determined to win, confronts Minho with proof that he illegally placed Lloyd in Mountain Hawk. She promises to keep it out of court if Lloyd gets transferred. She tells Lloyd his transfer is basically done, and he can repay her with lunch. On his way to meet Hee-ji, Lloyd sees Mireille calling Young-ok her big sister, which relieves him. Hee-ji then takes him to Jae-hoon's bar, where Young-ok also happens to be visiting her old friend. A jealous Lloyd loudly compliments how gorgeous Hee-ji looks, but Young-ok ignores it. Nearby, some customers are mocking Song-yi. Her rooftop fall went viral, and they call her a pathetic stalker who would die for her idol. Lloyd snaps and starts a fight. Young-ok tries to hold him back, and Jae-hoon hauls them both out of the bar. That night at base, Young-ok's doll from Lloyd falls off a cabinet, and she thinks of him. He is leaving soon, and the thought unsettles her. She hits the gym to shake it off, and Lloyd finds her there. He thanks her for everything and asks her to watch over Song-yi. The next day, Lloyd says goodbye to his teammates, sad to leave after all they went through. On the way out, he asks his assistant to swing by the hospital to check on Song-yi. Young-ok is already there and hides when he walks in. Watching how much he cares about his fan, she starts to think he is a genuinely good person. Then, a Violet member disguised as a doctor tries to kill Song-yi. He fails because Young-ok protects her and chases him to the back of the building, where more Violet members are waiting. She gets overwhelmed until Lloyd shows up carrying a weapon. The three attackers realize it is fake and run off. To dig into Violet's real goal, Young-ok tries to unlock Song-yi's phone, held by the authorities. Lloyd helps and guesses the password is Song-yi's birthday. Young-ok is surprised Lloyd is still here since he was already transferred. He changed his mind after everything. He is staying to protect Song-yi and help Young-ok expose Violet. For his first move, Lloyd asks Hee-ji to look into someone's background. She agrees, on the condition he ask as a friend and return the favor later. He agrees, and they start becoming friends. Meanwhile, Young-ok reports to Il-do, who has a plan to catch Violet. Since Violet wants Song-yi dead, Il-do figures they want Lloyd dead too because they eliminate anyone in their way. So he decides to use Lloyd as bait. Young-ok hates putting Lloyd in danger, but she cannot defy her superior. The plan is a public photo shoot for Mountain Hawk, promoting unification. Il-do bets Violet will show up in the open to kill Lloyd, giving them the perfect chance to catch them. Elsewhere, Jae-hoon sneaks into the camp and searches Lloyd's drawer for the secret file. Instead, he finds an explosive planted under Lloyd's bed and takes it. Back at headquarters, he confronts his subordinate Sung-tae, the one who tried to kill Song-yi and planted the bomb. Sung-tae says he did it to protect Violet's plan. Jae-hoon warns him that reckless moves will only wreck their future plans. Sung-tae fires back that Jae-hoon is only worried Young-ok might get hurt, since he clearly loves her. Jae-hoon tells him to stay in line. A flashback explains Jae-hoon. He was a North Korean spy who felt betrayed by his own country. Peace made all his sacrifices meaningless, and worse, the state tried to bury its dark secrets by wiping out its own agents planted across the South. The survivors, Jae-hoon included, faked their deaths and banded together to destroy the peace that erased their purpose. That is how Violet was born. On the day of the photo shoot, Sung-tae, no longer trusting Jae-hoon, sets up a sniper rifle to kill Lloyd, convinced he knows too much. But Young-ok senses him and grabs a mirror, flashing light to throw off his aim. Lloyd survives, Sung-tae escapes, but one of his men is caught. Under interrogation, Young-ok and Il-do learn Song-yi has information on the identities of every Violet member. Meanwhile, Lloyd visits Song-yi, feeling guilty he could not protect her. She suffers a heart attack right there but pulls through. Back at base, Lloyd catches Young-ok going through his things, including the pink jacket. She wants him to hand over anything dangerous he is holding for his own safety. But Lloyd hits back, telling her she cannot even protect herself. She fakes being tough while she is fragile inside, so how can she protect anyone? He wants her to work with him instead of shutting him out and suspecting him. She does the opposite, refusing to drag him into her mess. Their teammates pull them apart. Lloyd hands over the pink jacket, but she finds nothing in it and passes it to Il-do. As punishment for the fight, Il-do orders her to take a few days of leave. Then it comes out Lloyd had Hee-ji dig into Song-yi's past, and he learns she is a hacker. Hee-ji holds back the rest of the details unless Lloyd escorts her to a party. He reluctantly agrees. Meanwhile, Mireille, who turns out to be a Vita fan, nearly collapses in the street from her illness and is helped by Jae-hoon. She recognizes him as the bar owner across from her caretaker's shop and goes home with him until they run into a very worried Young-ok. At home, after her medicine, Mireille talks about their parents, and Young-ok tells her she is beautiful like their late mother and begs her to hold on until she can get surgery. Here is a key reveal. Lloyd has had the file Violet wants this whole time. He found it in the pocket of Song-yi's pink jacket, which had been sitting in his van. Meanwhile, Young-ok confronts Jae-hoon about faking his death, having heard it from an insider. Now she starts to suspect he is part of Violet, since the group is made of former elite agents just like her. Young-ok bumps into Lloyd as he is leaving on leave for the party with Hee-ji. At first she does not care, but then a digital forensic report arrives. The data from Song-yi's phone already mentioned this exact party. Violet is targeting it to ruin the image of peace, since it will be full of VIP guests from both Koreas, including Pongwasi officials. Young-ok also recalls that Mireille's caretaker, invited as a North Korean representative, said Jae-hoon would be there too. That deepens the mystery of why he is tangled in all of this. At the party, Hee-ji introduces Lloyd to her mother, who turns out to be the mayor of Pongwasi. She asks Lloyd to deliver a peace speech during the event. Young-ok arrives worried about Lloyd, but she is turned away for not meeting the dress code. Lloyd's assistant helps her find a gown so she can get in. When Lloyd sees her, he is stunned and tells her she looks beautiful. She does not react, and Hee-ji pulls him away to greet VIPs. The mayor gives a welcome speech about supporting the peace, and the party doubles as a charity fundraiser. A jealous Lloyd sees Young-ok alone with Jae-hoon and cannot sit still. He challenges her to a limbo game with a 100 million won charity prize. Winner picks the cause. He wants his prize donated to a Children's Heart Foundation, hoping it helps people like Mireille. He and Young-ok win, and they are thrilled. Jae-hoon is jealous watching them grow close, but he has bigger problems. At the party, he receives a briefcase of cash and a voice command from Shadow, the true mastermind controlling Violet from the shadows. Jae-hoon does not know who Shadow is, but he obeys because they share the same goal, wrecking Korean peace. Then Lloyd starts his speech, and gunfire erupts, throwing the party into chaos. Young Ok and Lloyd, each terrified for the other, run through the crossfire toward each other while Mountain Hawk moves to protect the guests. The attack fails because the unit secures every VIP. Jae-hoon helps Seung-tae flee in his car, but Young Ok tails them to headquarters. In the basement, Seung-tae slips away while Jae-hoon distracts a disappointed Young Ok, who looks ready to shoot him. Jae-hoon lays out his side. What he does with Violet is nothing next to the state's betrayal. Countless agents sent south were slaughtered. Men once honored as heroes were thrown away, and the beautiful peace was bought with horrific sacrifice. Young Ok knows that suffering, and hearing how their loyalty was repaid with betrayal, cuts deep. She was only spared because she was never deployed as a spy. That night, she weeps alone. In talks with the mayor, the higher-ups agree to catch Shadow and keep the party attack out of the media so peace is not damaged. They have to settle this before the two nations formally sign unification. Even with the party ruined, Hee-ji keeps her promise about Song-yi's background. The teen is from North Korea and has been through hell since her parents died. Because of her computer skills, the state recruited her into a hacking unit and sent her to Russia. She joined Violet to survive there alone. Hee-ji notes Lloyd clearly means a lot to her since she risked her life for him. Young Ok keeps Jae-hoon's identity secret from her superior and visits Mireille when she can. Mireille shows off Vita on her tablet and jokes that Lloyd might be her sister's type. Then Mireille winces in pain, and Young Ok promises to protect her no matter what. Later, Lloyd sneaks into Violet's basement and overhears Jae-hoon trying to recruit Young Ok. She refuses. She believes peace is the only way to stop more people from being sacrificed, and nothing justifies what Jae-hoon is doing. He offers to pay for Mireille's surgery, but Young Ok insists that is her responsibility. Then, Young Ok secretly watches footage of her superior brutally interrogating a captured Violet member, which crosses the line she believes in. To catch Shadow, the higher-ups let the captured member escape, shadowed by an agent posing as a Violet member, hoping he leads them to Shadow. They keep Lloyd secure at the control center, but he sees Young Ok grab a sniper rifle for some unknown plan and follows her. The escaped member meets Jae-hoon at a park, but the plan falls apart. Jae-hoon gives the survivor money to run and start over. Then the undercover agent posing as Violet is killed on the spot, and Jae-hoon realizes he was a government plant. Mountain Hawk moves to chase Jae-hoon, but Young Ok, up on a rooftop, actually helps him escape by firing on her own unit. She makes sure no one dies, hitting only their bulletproof vests. Lloyd finds her on the roof and demands answers, but she refuses, saying he would not understand. Il-do quickly figures out Young Ok helped Jae-hoon escape. She skipped the mission, and she is the only elite soldier who could take down his men that cleanly. To save her, Lloyd unexpectedly lies, claiming they spent the whole day together on a date at a hotel. Young Ok did not want the help and is ready to face the consequences, but people believe the alibi, so she has to play along. Back at base, Young Ok dreams of kissing Lloyd and jolts awake, shaken that the dream felt more real than the one about getting shot. The fake date alibi spreads. Someone films Lloyd's confession and posts it, and it instantly trends. Instead of raging that their idol has a girlfriend, Vita fans actually root for the couple, because someone else filmed Young Ok bravely shielding Lloyd from gunfire at the party, which fans find incredibly romantic. The Pongwasi officials love how well this plays. Meanwhile, Hee-ji tells her mother she likes Lloyd and refuses to give up despite the scandal. Young Ok reluctantly plays the girlfriend to sell the alibi, spending time with Lloyd through lunches, park walks, and quiet moments together. During this, Jae-hoon invites her to leave the country and promises to send Mireille to the best hospital. She refuses, saying she already repaid his kindness by saving him and asks him never to meet again since they walk different paths. All this time together lets Young Ok finally smile more. One happy night, she realizes Lloyd likes her and tells him he should not fall for her. It is not that her feelings are one-sided, she just thinks it will never work. He is a celebrity adored by fans, and she is an elite soldier who gambles her life on duty. But by saying all that, she basically admits she feels the same, and Lloyd kisses her. He believes they will find a way if they stay together. She stops hiding it, and the two fall into an unlikely romance. Lloyd's military buddies cheer on the relationship and suggest date ideas, since Young Ok is no ordinary woman. Lloyd treats their date like a mission. Young-ok, shy about all this, studies dating videos online and finds one about what men like, including an invitation to eat ramyeon at home. For context, in South Korea, that invitation carries a hidden intimate meaning. On date day, instead of going somewhere fancy, Young-ok brings Lloyd home to meet her little sister and invites him for ramyeon. Lloyd gets flustered and says it is not the right time with Mi-rae right there. Turns out Young-ok had no clue about the hidden meaning and thought it was just noodles. Luckily, his letdown is cured when they go on a picnic. After Lloyd loses a game, Young-ok gets a wish. Instead of the luxury gift he offers, she asks him to sing her a song, inspired by a small live act nearby. She loves it, and admits she is happy but scared it will not last. Lloyd tells her no happiness is forever, but they can just keep making new happiness as the old fades. Then the knife comes. Hee-ji finds dashcam footage of Young-ok speaking privately with Jae-hoon on the night of the party and hands it to Il-do. It proves Young-ok is involved with Jae-hoon and deserves punishment. Hee-ji did this on purpose to pull Young-ok away from Lloyd, knowing she could be sent home if found guilty. That night, Lloyd confesses to Young-ok that he kept an SD card from Song-yi's jacket, and only now, after she explains it, does he learn it holds a list of every Violet agent. After they take a keepsake photo, someone grabs Mi-rae while she waits alone outside the photo booth. Lloyd and Young-ok panic, then Jae-hoon messages them that Mi-rae is with him. It is an open threat. Lloyd realizes Jae-hoon wants the file, and he goes to meet him alone after promising Young-ok he will bring Mi-rae back no matter what. Jae-hoon is not sure Lloyd has the file, but remembering how Song-yi risked her life just to reach Lloyd at the hospital convinces him. He is right, and Lloyd hands the file over to save Mi-rae. Lloyd then asks if Jae-hoon pushed Song-yi off the roof. Sung-tae suddenly appears with a weapon and says Song-yi fell on her own, trying to dodge blame without involving anyone else. Sung-tae takes Song-yi's SD card to bring to Shadow directly, since Shadow no longer trusts Jae-hoon. While Jae-hoon chases Sung-tae, Lloyd carries the sleeping Mi-rae safely home. Back home, Lloyd reveals the file he gave Jae-hoon was a fake. The real one was hidden inside the little doll he once gave Young-ok. That night, the deputy commissioner arrests Young-ok for treason. She turns herself in, but first she secretly returns Song-yi's SD card to Lloyd and asks him to look after Mi-rae. Mi-rae wakes and chases after her sister but faints from shock. Lloyd rushes her to the hospital, leaving a helpless Young-ok terrified for her sister. Young-ok is sent back to the north, where she may be executed. Before they part, Lloyd promises to bring her back to Pongwasi and take care of Mi-rae. Lloyd storms the control center to face the mayor and deputy commissioners. He brings the list of Violet members and demands they check it right now for transparency. If Young-ok is not on that list, she did not betray her country. The mayor agrees, but the file is encrypted and they need the password. Song-yi set it to self-destruct after 3 wrong tries. The only clue is the song that makes Song-yi happiest. Lloyd is sure it is a Vita song but does not know which. After 2 wrong guesses, he nails it on the last try and the file opens. Young-ok's name is not on it. The mayor orders the authorities to arrest everyone on the list and warns Lloyd to stay careful because Violet will retaliate. Lloyd then asks the mayor to help bring Young-ok back, and she promises to try. Hee-ji is crushed that Lloyd will not give up on Young-ok. She asks why he fights for her if they can never be together. Lloyd tells her she has no right to decide how his love story ends, and he figures out it was Hee-ji who reported Young-ok. Hee-ji says she just did not want him tangled up with a dangerous woman who could destroy everything he built. She cares about him and confesses her feelings, but Lloyd firmly rejects her. Shadow's identity is still unknown, so the mayor assigns her people to catch him with a trap. In a northern prison, Young-ok meets the Violet member Jae-hoon once helped escape. He warns her that Lloyd is in serious danger for exposing their names, which enraged Shadow, who ordered the remaining members to kill him. Lloyd meets Mi-rae's caretaker and tells her he has arranged the girl's surgery. He keeps searching for a way to bring Young-ok back while serving his military duty. He misses her badly and he is heartbroken to hear she was released but shipped off to a revolutionary unit in the Middle East. Then, out of nowhere, Young-ok returns and startles Lloyd, who thinks he is hallucinating. She was proven innocent and cleared of all charges. But right before deployment to the Middle East, she chose to retire. That kills any chance of achieving her goals, but she made her choice. She wants to be in Pongwasi to care for her sister and be with the man she loves. Leaving them would only hurt her more than she could stand. Lloyd apologizes since his focus on Mi-rae nearly cost Young-ok's sister her job. Young-ok does not mind and is overjoyed her sister can finally be cured. Meanwhile, Sung-tae gets new orders from Shadow. Their attacks keep failing because Lloyd's scandals distract the public from taking Violet seriously. With what strength is left, Shadow orders Sung-tae to eliminate Lloyd, whose public influence has grown too large to ignore. After Young-ok visits her sister, Minho takes Lloyd to the control center to shield him from a Violet strike. The higher-ups doubt why Young-ok returned to Pongwasi after retiring and start investigating her. In the interrogation room, Young-ok tells Lloyd she retired on purpose, unwilling to leave the people who matter to her, even if it means giving up the chance to clear her father's name. She has no regrets, and believes her late parents would be happier if she let go of the past and lived for the future. Ever since meeting Young-ok, Jae-hoon has questioned whether his revenge is even worth it. The pain of betrayal will not heal, but wrecking the peace will not fix it either. That doubt eats at him and rots Violet from within, as Seong-tae stops trusting him and does whatever he wants. When Young-ok rejected his offer to leave the country, Jae-hoon finally accepted her point. Destroying the peace would create countless innocent victims, maybe even the woman he loves. Just as Young-ok sacrificed her wishes to protect the future, Jae-hoon lets go of his revenge to protect her. Finally, to catch Shadow, the mayor makes Lloyd the bait. She will set up a safe house and pretend to leak its location, and whoever takes the bait is Shadow. Lloyd agrees, but he secretly makes a separate plan with his military buddies. As the mayor and her guards escort Lloyd to the safe house, he suddenly changes course midway, betting the real Shadow will follow him. At the control center, the GPS for Lloyd and the mayor vanishes, sending Minho into a panic, and he asks Young-ok to chase them down. Somehow, Sung-tae knows Lloyd's exact new location and has him lined up from a rooftop with a sniper rifle. Before he fires, Jae-hoon arrives and tries to convince him that killing Lloyd changes nothing. Sung-tae throws their dead comrades in his face, and Jae-hoon admits it was his failure as a leader to protect them. Still blinded by revenge, Sung-tae heads down to kill Lloyd. But Young-ok arrives just in time and saves him, while the mayor slips away with her guards. Lloyd subdues Sung-tae, and Jae-hoon catches up, reuniting with Young-ok. As a friend, she gives Jae-hoon one last chance to escape with Sung-tae. Jae-hoon, at peace with his past, makes peace with Lloyd and asks him to look after Young-ok. At that exact moment, Sung-tae fires at Lloyd, but Jae-hoon jumps in front and takes the shot, sacrificing his life. Mountain Hawk arrives and takes out Sung-tae, while Young-ok weeps over the loss of the man who once helped her survive. Shadow's identity is still hidden, but Lloyd gets a clue. Shadow has been close to him all along, someone who pretended to protect him and care about him. Hard as it is to believe, Lloyd is certain Shadow is the mayor of Pongwasi. She fed Sung-tae Lloyd's location in real time through a GPS planted in his car. Realizing her plan collapsed, the mayor begs her guards for protection and lies, claiming Shadow is trying to kill her. To make it worse, she fabricates that the ones wrecking the peace are North Korean spies, turning Minho and Il-do against each other. Lloyd and Young-ok rush back to the control center to arrest her. Thankfully, Minho and Il-do swallow their pride for peace and lower their weapons. But before Lloyd can expose the truth, the mayor turns the tables and takes him hostage. Just like Violet, the mayor does not believe in peace because it strips her life of meaning. Conflict, chaos, and war made her powerful and essential while the Koreas were at odds. If peace wins, she becomes an ordinary official with no fear to command and no way to be the hero she craves. Lloyd urges Young-ok to shoot him and end it, but she cannot. Minho accidentally shoots Lloyd, and Mountain Hawk arrests the mayor. Young-ok breaks down, sobbing that she loves him. Hearing it, Lloyd says he loves her too and shows the bulletproof vest that saved his life. Relieved, she kisses him. With Shadow captured and her Violet ties exposed, Mountain Hawk becomes the story of the moment for cracking the case. Young-ok has retired from the military but stays with Mountain Hawk, ready to protect the peace. Lloyd and Young-ok visit Mireille before her surgery, and Lloyd shares that Jae-hoon came to see him before he died. Jae-hoon wanted to catch Shadow before he was gone, so the peace could hold, and so Young-ok, then imprisoned, could be freed. Since he had never seen Shadow in person, Jae-hoon planned a trap. That is how Lloyd built his separate plan with his buddies, using himself as bait to draw Shadow out. Hearing this, Young-ok finally sees that Jae-hoon cared for her deeply and ended up on the right side. Mirei's surgery is a success. While handling paperwork, Lloyd runs into Song Yi, now in a wheelchair but recovering, and he is grateful. She promises to come to a Vita concert once he finishes his service, and he happily looks forward to it. In Mirei's room, Lloyd asks Young-ok to spend her life with him, but she says no to marrying anytime soon. She learned that idols cannot marry if they want to keep their careers, so she is holding off for his sake. Mirei had grown close to her caretaker's neighbors, a shopkeeper couple made up of a South Korean and a North Korean. At their wedding, Lloyd and Young-ok attend, and Lloyd asks again when she will marry him. She says when the time is right. Lloyd is glad she is so understanding and thrilled when she catches the bride's bouquet. Then Vita suddenly appears, surprising everyone including the Mountain Hawk soldiers, and Lloyd joins his group to perform. A now healthy Mirei is overjoyed. Everyone sings and dances, and Young-ok watches Lloyd with a proud smile. The story ends as the wedding wraps up and Mountain Hawk, Lloyd included, gets called out for a new mission to protect the peace. So the moral of the story is, never ignore a girl for your toy collection, because you might end up fighting terrorists, faking a relationship, and still paying for noodles you never got to eat.